In the 1950s, as a young woman at the start of her reign, Elizabeth was depicted as a glamorous, fairy tale queen. After the trauma of the Second World War, it was a time of hope, a period of progress and achievement heralding a new Elizabethan age. Lord Altringham's accusation in 1957 that her speeches sounded like those of a priggish schoolgirl was an extremely rare criticism. In the late 1960s, attempts to portray a more modern image of the monarchy were made in the television documentary Royal Family and by televising Prince Charles's investiture as Prince of Wales. Elizabeth also instituted other new practices. Her first royal walkabout, meeting ordinary members of the public, took place during a tour of Australia and New Zealand in 1970. Her wardrobe developed a recognizable signature style driven more by function than fashion. In public, she took to wearing mostly solid color overcoats and decorative hats, allowing her to be seen easily in a crowd. At Elizabeth's Silver Jubilee in 1977, the crowds and celebrations were genuinely enthusiastic. But, in the 1980s, public criticism of the royal family increased, as the personal and working lives of Elizabeth's children came under media scrutiny. Her popularity sank to a low point in the 1990s. Under pressure from public opinion, she began to pay income tax for the first time, and Buckingham Palace was opened to the public. Although support for republicanism in Britain seemed higher than at any time in living memory, Republican ideology was still a minority viewpoint, and Elizabeth herself had high approval ratings. Criticism was focused on the institution of the monarchy itself, and the conduct of Elizabeth's wider family, rather than her own behavior and actions. Discontent with the monarchy reached its peak on the death of Diana, Princess of Wales. Although Elizabeth's personal popularity, as well as general support for the monarchy, rebounded after her live television broadcast to the world 5 days after Diana's death. In November 1999, a referendum in Australia on the future of the Australian monarchy favoured its retention in preference to an indirectly elected head of state. Many Republicans credited Elizabeth's personal popularity with the survival of the monarchy in Australia. In 2010, Prime Minister Julia Gillard noted that there was a deep affection for Elizabeth in Australia and that another referendum on the monarchy should wait until after her reign. Gillard's successor, Malcolm Turnbull, who led the Republican campaign in 1999, similarly believed that Australians would not vote to become a republic in her lifetime. She has been an extraordinary head of state, Turnbull said in 2021. And I think frankly, in Australia, there are more Elizabethans than there are monarchists. Similarly, referendums in both Tuvalu in 2008 and St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2009 saw voters reject proposals to become republics. Polls in Britain in 2006 and 2007 revealed strong support for the monarchy. And in 2012, Elizabeth's Diamond Jubilee year, her approval ratings hit 90%. Her family came under scrutiny again in the last few years of her life due to her son Andrew's association with convicted sex offenders Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, his lawsuit with Virginia Giuffre amidst accusations of sexual impropriety, and her grandson Harry and his wife Meghan's exit from the working royal family and subsequent move to the United States. Polling in Great Britain during the Platinum Jubilee, however, showed support for maintaining the monarchy, and Elizabeth's personal popularity remained strong. As of 2021, she remained the third most admired woman in the world according to the annual Gallup poll. Her 52 appearances on the list, meaning she had been in the top 10 more than any other woman in Paul's history. Elizabeth was portrayed in a variety of media by many notable artists, including painters Pietro Annigoni, Peter Blake, Chinwe Chukwuogo Roy, Terence Cuneo, Lucian Freud, Rolf Harris, Damien Hirst, Juliet Panett and Tyshawn Scherenberg. Notable photographers of Elizabeth included Cecil Beaton, Yusuf Karsh, Anwar Hussain, Annie Leibovitz, Lord Lichfield, Terry O'Neill, John Swanall and Dorothy Wilding. The first official portrait photograph of Elizabeth was taken by Marcus Adams in 1926.